Hey there, folks, and welcome back to the Banners Fly Forever football show. You may see on our screen we have something a little different going on tonight. So we are going to do another mock draft, but this time the decision making is going to be left by complete chance. We've put a number of different things on this wheel, and whatever the wheel lands on will dictate the type of player that we can draft at whatever pick we are at. It will be a combined effort here, both Dan and myself putting these these picks together. Dan, something we've never done before, but I think like at this time of year, we're so overrun with mock drafts and so many of them going on that it's like, how do we make this a little different? How do we change it up? Nobody really knows how the draft's going to go, so why don't we try something different, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's nowadays it's like, okay, chalk one, chalk two, oh, trade or no trade at three. Like it becomes at this point in the process
Mm-hmm.
such like everyone does the same thing. And then you also get the wing of people who do things just to be, hot takey without
Sure.
actually backing up with evidence. And
Right.
I feel like this is the perfect way to get away from consensus, still have a little bit of fun, but also like stay true to your big board.
Yep.
Like obviously we'll be constrained by whatever the wheel chooses, but we're still going to choose the best player on our big board based on what the wheel states. I know there's a bunch of one that we were talking about before recording that are already going to give us fits, um, non-power five schools, heights, fantasy football landing spots, the Al Davis pick, the fastest 40. So there's a lot to look forward to. Tim and I, we will be doing this one together. It's a co-mock. We were talking before and just trying to rack our brain about heights and weights, and this school, that school would take too long to go back and forth. So we're gonna team up on this one, and
Right.
we're gonna conquer the wheel. It's Dan and Tim
Against
versus
the
the
wheel.
wheel this time. So
Yes.
it is kind of still a competition.
We're
Still a face
reinventing the
off.
wheel, right?
Exactly.
So, without further ado, then I think we can kind of just get right underway. So let's head over to our big board here. We do have the Bears that will be up first. I'm going to go ahead and start our draft. So here are all of the possible options, and why not just dig in here and see what the wheel has for us? We ready to go?
Alrighty, let's do it. See what we got.
All
Oh, I
righty.
can't wait.
Oh boy. The very first one. Oh no. Oh no. Group of five school right off
Group of
the
five
top.
school.
Holy moly. Okay.
Quinyon Mitchell, you
I think it's a
are
pretty I think it's a
a
pretty
Chicago
easy
Bear.
yeah. You want to talk about having the greatest pre-draft lead up to being picked in the NFL, from going to being a Senior Bowl star to now being the top pick of the 2024 NFL draft. I mean, this is a no duh, right? This has got to be Quinyon.
So, so we laugh because obviously this is something that would never happen. I mean, you don't say never, but 99.9% probably not going to happen. But let's be honest, the Chicago Bears are still great getting a great player.
Absolutely.
Quinyon just didn't play in a Power 5 conference.
Right.
That's not a total knock against him because people say, "Oh, he didn't play a lot of good competition,"
Sure.
this and that. But then
Sure.
we just talked about the Senior Bowl, and when he went to the Senior Bowl, he dominated.
Hmm.
So he
Absolutely.
does have tape against really good competition. Is he the top overall pick in the draft? Probably not. But
Probably
hey,
not. He's
the
number one in
wheel
our hearts, Dan. I mean, like,
number one in our
what of a
hearts.
more fitting way for us to have this mock draft start off than for you and I to have Quinyon Mitchell go number one overall in our
We
draft here?
we we did talk about this scenario for about 5 minutes, I want to say. So it almost feels rigged to a certain extent.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't believe it actually landed on that. So we're going to be in a lot of trouble if that comes back up really quickly. So please have a different answer for us for pick number two, Wheel, as we get going for the Washington Commanders at 102 overall. All right, good. We're past that. Uh-oh. We got a
Trade,
trade. All right.
trade.
All right. So let's look at our big board. So I mean, trade, we got to bring somebody up to here and then probably spin the wheel again to decide what they're picking. So what's the likely scenario here, you think, of somebody trying to come up?
So if it wasn't for the division, I would say that Giants going from 6 to 2 makes
Sure.
sense. But with them being both in the NFC East, I can't see it. What I can see is maybe just a very small trade is New England
Just jumping
bumping
up
up
one.
from 3 to 2,
Sure.
locking in saying like, hey, there's only one quarterback we want in this draft class. Let's go do what it needs to be done to
Yeah.
go make it happen. I mean, what are you thinking? Like just 34 would be enough?
I think that's probably enough, right? I mean, you're moving up one pick, and if this was reality, right? If we were saying that this was a real thing happening in real life, where there was a wheel that was going to dictate, whether you're playing the odds here as well, so you can't pay, like a future first or anything on top of it. I think going up one pick, if Washington's willing to come back with a second round pick, is probably enough here, right?
Yeah. I'm like we say on every mock draft show, we're not going to get lost in the sauce with the trade details.
Right.
We're going to keep the show moving, but that would be the beginning of a trade package. Would be 34, and maybe some later round pick swap or something. But
Absolutely.
um, all right, so that's that. God, this is off to a really fun start. This is
Absolutely.
this is
So
crazy.
now what will happen at number 2? We don't have a trade. Doesn't look like a group of five, a group of 5 school. All right. So we need to get a player that ran below a 4.440 in the combine. So we're going to have to pull out some 40 times. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of who. I mean, we're likely going to be in the wide receivers, I would think.
Well, the
Or
funniest thing is they New England is trading up for a quarterback. You would imagine.
right.
But as luck would have it, almost none of the quarterbacks ran
Right,
the 40.
exactly.
So
So, I
there's
mean,
not
this
much to work off of.
if maybe did their pro day numbers ever show up for us here?
I'm trying to just pull up the combine database and
Sure,
see.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Keaton Slovis was the fastest at a 4.55.
Oh
Um,
boy.
so now you got to start thinking about like what other positions would be worthy of a top 3 pick.
Sure, sure.
Offensive tackle. Well, I got bad news. The fastest tackle was the kid from Washington, Roger Rosengarten, and he ran a 4.92.
Okay, so not quite enough.
So then you'd be okay. Edge defenders, right?
Mhm.
Like those are the big 3: quarterbacks, tackles, edge defenders. Um, you got Dallas Turner ran a 4.46.
Yeah.
So you're
Well,
getting
I
getting
mean,
closer.
if we dig into the wide receivers, there's a guy who's highly touted who had a 4.3840, and that's Malik Neighbors out of LSU. And a 4.38, I think, is going to be good enough to count as the Al Davis pick, I guess. It's probably not, the traditional Darius Hayward Bay type wide receiver, but it will work, I think, for our purposes here. So, all right.
Yeah, so that's pretty crazy that they traded up one spot just to grab, not even the wide receiver one on many people's big board.
Absolutely. But I think that's it. I think Malik Neighbors comes off the board here at 102. So now we go back to the wheel, right? With the Commanders back on the clock after trading, gaining a second round pick. And here we go. Oh, man. Are we going to have 2 in a row? No. We are going to have their first or last name has to start with a vowel. So not too crazy, but it does eliminate a couple of guys off
Okay.
the near top of the board. So if we look really quickly, we got Caleb Williams no go, Marvin Harrison's a no go, Drake May is a no go. So we're in the realm of Joe Alt, Roma Dunze. I mean, JJ McCarthy is a no go for as far as quarterback goes for Washington. So yeah, this is. I mean, we could go Oluf Shanu, Amarius Mims, but I feel like we're kind of getting down the board a little bit. We're probably more in the Alt Odunze area, I would think. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, God, I feel like Joe Alt is like such a blue chip at his position. Now I love Rome. I think Rome is a great asset in this draft class, but I think if you're not going to get a quarterback, you need to get a blue chip at another very important position. And Joe Alt would be the pick for me if we're going with, Val starting um Val starting players
Vowel starting
according to
players.
Wheel.
All right. Well, then I think I agree with you here. I mean, I think Washington probably isn't looking to fix up the wide receiver room before getting a proper offensive line going. And if they're not going to be able to take a quarterback, then we're gonna go with Joe Alt here at number 3. And so now that brings the Arizona Cardinals up as we bring our big wheel back up for another spin. Here we go.
Oh man, what's this going to be?
Oh boy, under 6'1".
Under 6'1".
Wow. Okay. So we're gonna have to do a little more research again, I think, and figure out who our best option is, who was under 6'1". Oh boy. All right. Well, Malik Neighbors was under 6'1", but that's already been taken away from us. So
That's off the board.
As far as wide receivers go, I think the next one kind of on the big board would be Lad McConkey at 5'11". But that obviously is probably a little
feels a little rich,
a little further down the board than we would like. Quarterback wise, Spencer Rattler.
Is it under 6'1" or includes 6'1"?
No, under 6'1". They cannot be 6'1".
They cannot be 6'1".
Correct.
Damn.
Yes, I know,
because Byron Murphy is 6'1".
Exactly. He's Byron Murphy is. Let's see. Is that his exact height?
6'1" on the dot. Yeah.
Oh boy. All right. Well, we got to keep searching here. We got to find somebody. I have him listed at 6 foot. 6'4" in his combine height. I think I have it here at 6'0". I think he's just under 6'1", Byron Murphy.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think he actually fits the mold. So that's a really good option for us here.
I can't
imagine
the
any of
NFL combine database is listing 6 foot and half an inch.
Yes, that looks correct. I can't imagine any of our edge rushers are going to be shorter than 6'1". I think Byron Murphy might be our pick, unless we have a cornerback that we want to bring up this list. But
I don't know if we're drafting a corner that's short in the top 5 picks.
Exactly. I think that's getting a little rich again. I think so. Terrion Arnold is 5'11", and Cooper DeJean is just under 6'1". But I think Byron Murphy is probably the pick here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Arizona, you get the defensive tackle you've been all asking for all season long. As Byron Murphy.
This is brutal so far.
Absolutely. Quinyon Mitchell, Malik Neighbors, Joe Alt, Byron Murphy are the first 4 picks of the wheel draft.
Not a single quarterback is gone.
Absolutely. Somebody's getting Caleb Williams, and they're going to be pumped about it. So the Los Angeles Chargers could end up with Justin Herbert and, oh my gosh, we are in trouble here. Okay. So the Al Davis pick has come up once again, and we got to go back to the board to figure out who ran under a 4.4. Nate Wiggins from Clemson, since I'm in the cornerbacks already, is the next cornerback on the list that ran under a 4.4.
This has to be a wide receiver.
I would think it has to be, right?
Right.
I mean, especially just being the Chargers picking.
Well, so
Brian Thomas Jr.
I was going to say Brian Thomas Jr. would qualify.
4.33.
Yeah,
he would be the next on the list. That's gonna be the hardest thing with Marvin is if this comes up at all, he never ran a 40, so we have no idea. So I think Brian
Thomas Jr.
Brian Thomas Jr. is going to have to be the pick, especially with this being the Chargers. Their top wide receiver right now is Joshua Palmer. So surprise, Marvin Harrison Jr., you're not only not the first wide receiver in this draft, you aren't even the second. Both LSU wide receivers are going ahead of Marvin Harrison Jr. as the New York Giants are now on the clock. Let's see if we can get something that's not the 4.440.
Giants fans are licking their chops right now.
Yeah, they're like, oh my gosh, we're getting Caleb Williams. QB! There it is. The New York Football Giants. How about that?
Trade is allowed. You are a New York Giant.
But I can't imagine they would want to be trading out of the fact that Caleb Williams will be their new franchise quarterback. And Daniel Jones just start packing the bags, I guess, because that's that in New York. That was an easy one. All right, we're back on pace, Dan.
Don't jinx us. Don't jinx us.
Absolutely.
No, we're not even 10 picks into this.
All right, the Tennessee Titans are now up at 7. Joe Alt is off the board, which everybody has kind of in their mock drafts going to Tennessee. So we'll see what the options are here. And we are in SEC country. So
Okay.
we have to pick a player that played for an SEC school. So near the top of our board, we have Brock Bowers. We have Terrion Arnold.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are they sold on Will Levis?
It's a great question. I know I kind of know where you're going here. I don't know if they're sold on Will Levis. And if one of these
let's say the Titans had the second pick in this draft.
Yeah.
What would the rhetoric, what would the conversation be this whole offseason?
I think you'd have to be saying it can't be much different than what the Bears with Justin Fields was, right? And I think Fields, you have a stronger idea of that he could have stuck around longer than Will Levis. I know Levis has only played 1 year where Fields has played 3, but I think you saw enough in that 1 year to go like, yeah, it's a project. We're gonna have a lot of work to do here. Where Jaden Daniels is sitting right there. Is this the Kyler Murray with Josh Rosen kind of situation here?
I mean, my other choice would be either J.C. Latham or Marius Mims, one of the tackles out of the SEC.
It's not a terrible idea either. It's a great question. I mean, how they've been building out their team, I think they're building around Levis, but it's a really interesting idea that Jaden Daniels is just sitting here ready for the taking. What do you think?
Man, this is tough. I'd say I hate to mail it in, but I say we go tackle here.
Okay.
And just
I think so too. I mean, I think
an interesting conversation though.
Absolutely. So Latham or Mims. I mean, Mims, you don't have the full, we don't know exactly what he's going to be, but he's probably one of the more intriguing prospects here because of the potential of what he can be. And then Latham, he's playing more on the right side, but I mean, the Titans could still use any lineman.
Yeah, they could use tackles on either side.
Exactly.
I mean, knowing Bill and that he's coaching that team now, coaching the offensive line. Yeah. I think he would grab a Marius Mims and get his new DeJuan Jones.
If there was going to be a guy who could get the best out of, what is kind of more of a projection pick, I would think Bill Callahan's that guy for a Marius Mims. So I like it here.
A Marius Mims top 10 pick.
Absolutely. All right, there it is. It's done.
Here we are.
It's too late. We're already moving on to our wheel. Whoops, sorry here. Let's jump back in for the Falcons. What do we got in store? Oh, no. Oh, no. All right. Under 6'1" once again. And we are going to be scraping the bottom. We might have to set a rule, Dan, that if it comes up 3 times that we can kick it off the wheel, because I don't think we can keep doing under 6'1". All right. Well, Lad McConkey's back in the mix. Let's see what else we got here.
No, I think I think I already know where I want to go with this one.
All right. What do you think?
They need a ton of help in the defense.
Sure.
Yeah. Terrion Arnold, as much as we love Quinion, is in conversation for QB1. You pair him with AJ Terrell, and you've got 2 great young corners for the next 3 years at least. I think that's kind of like a slam dunk no brainer.
I like that.
I feel like this is the one time where the wheel kind of worked out in a way that we might actually see play out on draft night.
Sure, absolutely. It is totally within the realm of possibilities. So. We'll take Terrion Arnold here. 5'11" fits the mold, and the Chicago Bears are back up on the clock. They just missed Caleb Williams in their second pick by 3 picks, but we will put them back up here, and they've already traded away Justin Fields, so they're really hoping that this lands on something where they can get themselves a quarterback. And we have a trade.
A trade, oh God.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, we should get to the board real quick then and probably throw a trade in. What do you think?
I mean, it has to be for a quarterback, right?
Yeah, you'd think so.
it'd be a quarterback needy team, which
I would think you got to be talking Denver here because you're
I was
probably
going to
not
say that the
giving
Broncos
Minnesota
would
the
probably
chance.
be the most sense
Though,
going
I
from
mean, I
12
guess
to
you
9.
are falling back behind the Vikings either way. So if you trade back with Denver, you're still going to be behind Minnesota. So their odds are just as good with the wheel at 9 as they are at 11. But yes, let's do Denver for the sake of argument here. We'll bring them up. And what do you think it takes for Denver to go up to 9 in this situation?
That's tricky because Denver doesn't have a second rounder,
Right.
which would have been kind of like a no brainer. So I feel like
Future 2?
76 in a future 2.
Okay. I like that. I
Yeah.
think with the QB still on the board here and that they're going up 3 total picks, I think it's one that, yeah. And again, we're not going to get lost in the sauce here.
Yeah.
We're going to make that happen. And Denver is now on the clock, hoping that the wheel is kind. Here we go.
Hoping the wheel gives them Drake May.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. It's not going to give him Drake May, but I think it's going to give him a quarterback here. Pretty easy
Yep.
answer to this, I would say. It's got to be
Yeah,
Jaden
Spencer
Daniels.
Rattler,
Yeah,
obviously.
Spencer Rattler. Did I already pass him here? There he is, Jaden Daniels to the Denver Broncos, and I don't really know if Sean Payton would react to that, but he's got his quarterback now. So, New York.
This is interesting.
This is definitely interesting. The New York Jets are going to see what happens here with the wheel, and I think we have another trade. Nope, it's slowing down. Non-animal mascot. All right, so
Okay, all right.
I think this one
I know what this one is.
is pretty easy. What do you think? Uh-oh, I think I lost Dan.
I'm back.
All right.
I
think it's a pretty easy one, right?
Yeah, it's got to be Marv, right?
It's Marv. Somehow, some way.
We agree that
Somehow,
a
some
Buckeye
way.
is a non-animal.
A Buckeye is not an animal, and that mascot, no matter what it's supposed to be, I think it's like a bearded dude or something, is not an animal. So I would say a Buckeye does not qualify. The mascot does not qualify as an animal. And somehow Aaron Rodgers is going to end up with Marvin Harrison Jr. to throw to in his twilight years in the NFL, which puts
He's got the Ohio State kids.
He's got the Ohio State kids, Garrett Wilson and Marvin Harrison Jr., teammates once again. All right, here we go. Minnesota praying that they can get themselves a Drake May here. And they are not going to get a Drake May here, as it must start with a vowel. All right. So, top guys on our board, Roma Dunze, Olu Fashanu, A.D. Mitchell. Boy.
I mean, I guess it's got to be Rome, right? Like,
I think it probably is Rome, right? Maybe you got a Jordan Addison, Roma Dunze, Justin Jefferson trio of wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, and with that wide receiver core, like, yeah, it's Sam Darnold, but one of those guys is going to get open enough.
For sure. All right. Well, that seems like, I mean, if you have to pick somebody with a vowel, I think that's clearly the top guy. There's going to be a lot of trading going on post-draft in this NFL reality. All right. The Bears are back up now at 12. And will the wheel be kind to them? We have a Big Ten player with Marvin Harrison just going off the board a second ago.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
That's a pretty rough that they had to trade. So we're looking at Cooper DeJean, Johnny Newton, Olu Fashanu, and then probably JJ McCarthy. So
I was going to say that this has got to be McCarthy, right?
I think it is, right? I mean, like the Bears have to draft a quarterback here. They have no quarterbacks. I think the Bears are going to have to draft JJ McCarthy in this situation. Are we in agreement?
I know Bears fans won't be happy about it, but
no, I can attest to Bears fans aren't happy about it before this is even released to the public. There's at least one Bear fan upset.
At least you got those day 2 picks, right?
Absolutely. So Nothing like the first pick and the 9th pick turning into Quinyon Mitchell, JJ McCarthy, and future 2 and a 3 this year. All right. The Raiders are on the clock. Here we go. As the wheel continues to just beat us down. Oh, come on. Are you kidding me right now? All right. It's going off the board.
Does the wheel know that there's more
yeah,
wedges?
exactly. Well, I'm removing it because this is the 3rd time that we've gotten the under 6'1". So it is removed now. We're not playing that anymore. And we have to find ourselves a under 6'1" player for the Raiders. Cooper DeJean is under 6'1".
Cooper came in under 6'1".
He is 6'1.5". It looks like. I think that's going to be it's him or Kool-Aid McKinstry, and then Ladd McConkey.
It's got to be Cooper DeJean here. I think
it's Cooper DeJean as well. I think there is need for secondary in Vegas. He's pretty high up here on the board. I think that's the pick. I think that's actually pretty easy, honestly.
Yeah.
All right, Cooper DeJean, 13 overall, still on the board. Drake May, Brock Bowers, Leatu Latu, Johnny Newton. So there are definitely some players still. If you are a New Orleans Saints fan, as the wheel takes off,
we haven't had a single edge defender go this whole time.
Absolutely. Uh-oh. Do we have Senior Bowl alum?
Okay. Now it gets easier. It gets easier.
Absolutely. All right. So let's close this guy up. We're going to hop back in here. So we got, let's see here. Our list. Who's the top Senior Bowl? Oh, boy.
Latu was at the Senior Bowl.
Latu was, right?
Yeah, Latu.
Was he there? I know he was a senior. I just didn't know if he had...
Yeah, no, he was there. I just confirmed on the rosters.
Got it. Okay. I think that's the easy pick then, right? I mean,
yeah.
Of anybody that's going to be here, I think it's going to be Latu. So the Saints, you get your Bruin from UCLA, Leatu Latu, and now Chris Ballard and the Indianapolis Colts are up on the clock at 15 overall. Yes.
Yep.
Could they pair Anthony Richardson with Drake May? Let's find out. Oh boy. Vowel start. Is this the 3rd time we've had it?
Yeah.
All right.
You can remove it after this.
We are removing it. I mean, Olu Fashanu, I believe, is the first one off the top of my head that's going to be available here.
Was it first name?
First or last name.
It
was that tight. So Olu Fashanu, AD Mitchell. I mean, they could use wide receiver help. Then we start getting into pretty far down the board.
Yeah, Disa Isaac, the edge rusher at Penn State.
Yep.
Personally, I think it's got to be AD Mitchell.
I think so too. I think there's just such a need for Indianapolis to continue to build out those wide receivers. You have Josh Downs, you have Michael Pittman, get AD Mitchell in there.
The funny thing is, like, does him and Josh Downs, are they just redundant?
Maybe.
Like, very similar skill set, but I mean, if anybody's going to find a use for 2 of the same players, it's going to be Shane Steichen.
Absolutely.
He's shown he has the ability to use multiple body types and multiple weapons to find success.
Absolutely. Well, let's go for it. AD Mitchell, 15 overall, still ahead of Drake May and Brock Bowers as we go to the wheel for the Seattle Seahawks at 16 overall. And over 250 pounds. All right, we're in some territory here where we can get some guys.
This is getting easier.
This is a little bit easier. What did Bowers end up weighing in at? Not 250. He can't
240.
be. 240. Johnny Newton, I believe, would have to be over 250. Talise Fuaga, Troy Fountaino.
I think I actually know who exactly I want here.
Okay.
I think Graham Barton at Duke.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Yeah. I mean, the need for Seattle is interior offensive line, and Barton.
Graham can play all 5 positions if he had to. So they can kind of just pick him and slide him in wherever. I think. I'm glad.
Well, I would say Fountaino is also kind of being touted as a guy that might be able to play all 5 positions as well. So it is close.
Yeah.
But I was thinking Barton as well. So I'm good with that if that's where we want to go.
Yeah. Let's do that.
All right. Graham Barton off the board with the Jacksonville Jaguars now up at 17 overall. Could Trevor Lawrence be paired with Drake May? Trade allowed with the
Okay.
QB. So somebody could trade up and get the QB at this point, which is like maybe the most valuable trade position anyone's had because Drake May is going off the board now. It's just who is coming up for him.
So assuming we're keeping this within the first round.
Yeah, I mean, the next team in this list here is probably Pittsburgh, but I mean, they have two quarterbacks in Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, so it could be the Rams for,
I was going to say, honestly, like the teams I see are the Rams, the Steelers, the Vikings,
the
obviously.
Vikings. Yep.
Um,
But now the Vikings don't have that 11th pick to pair with it for a good package. And
I know,
funny
but now
enough,
they're
the
only going from
Rams
23 to 17 now.
exactly, and the Rams. I mean, Les Snead, though he has famously said that he doesn't care about picks, they have a ton of picks in this draft.
Yeah.
So if we pull up the Rams here at 19, they have 1952, 83, 99, 154, 155, 196. I mean, there's a ton on
That's
here.
a lot of comp picks.
To get up 2 picks, I think you could I mean, knowing that it is for the quarterback, that it's a known factor that you're getting Drake May here, I think we could probably say that they could give a second and a third here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's pretty fair to go up from 19 to 17 and give a second and a third. That's probably something that Jacksonville would say, yep, we'll do that.
Yeah, that might even be a bit of an overpay,
Absolutely. Well, we're not going to get lost in it.
Yeah, like we said, devil's in the details.
Absolutely. So, Drake May, you are now learning under Matthew Stafford and becoming the new face in LA.
Wow, what a succession plan that is.
Absolutely. I mean,
just wait for QB2 to drop this pick 17.
And somehow, some way, the Bengals still could end up with Brock Bowers, which is one of the more talked about possibilities in this draft for where Brock Bowers could go. We need SEC to show up or Animal Mascot to hang on. Woo!
Animal Mascot.
All right.
Okay.
Animal Mascot will work because that is the Bulldog himself, Brock Bowers. I think that's a pretty easy pick. I don't think there's a lot to really even discuss here.
No.
Nope.
No, I don't. Well, I got to ask you. So you are an Illinois alum.
Sure.
What is the mascot?
Well, there is no mascot technically right now. So you would have to base it off of their previous mascot, which would be a Indian chief. So
okay.
I think that would be non-animal.
Okay.
But I think Brock Bowers has to be the pick here. All right, there we go. Brock Bowers to the Cincinnati Bengals. Jacksonville is back up on the clock after trading from 17 to 19. The wheel is off. Jacksonville is going to pick an under, and this is the third time for this one, so we are removing it, under 4.440. And we got to go to the big board here, and this is going to start to get hard. Nate Wiggins is probably the top guy, I would think. I got to check what Cooley McKinstry ran.
Let's see.
I have 4.47, so he would be over 4.28 for Nate Wiggins. After that, we do have somewhere on here our Texas wide receiver,
Xavier Worthy. I think they need corner help real bad.
I agree. I think Nate Wiggins has to be the pick. You'd think.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Nate Wiggins it is. No more under 4.40s. The Steelers are up at 20, and we are off.
There's so many we haven't even touched.
I know. There's a few we haven't. Okay, here we go. All right, this is one I'm actually kind of excited for. So now we have to figure out who is the oldest player currently rostered on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And once we figure that out, we have to draft the replacement for that player. So same position. Let's hope it's not a punter or a kicker.
This is gonna be funny.
Uh-oh.
The oldest I have it.
Okay.
The oldest player on the Steelers is also one of the most recently acquired players on the
Russell
Steelers.
Wilson?
Russell Wilson,
Oh, baby. Okay. Well, let's
quarterback season.
let's get our quarterbacks up here because it's either Bo Nix or Michael Penix, I think. And the Steelers are going to have Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, and either Bo Nix or Michael Penix Jr. here. What's your gut here on? I mean, I know PFF here has the rankings of Bo Nix being higher than Penix. What's your personal ranking here between the two quarterbacks?
I like Penix better between the two,
I do too.
personally.
I do too.
I'm like trying to think like what would Pittsburgh like?
It's a good question.
But like it's so weird though, because like they drafted Kenny Pickett, and before that they drafted Ben Roethlisberger.
Right, right.
Like they've drafted what, two quarterbacks in the first round in the
Yeah.
past 20 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
It's
yeah, I
tough,
don't
and
know
I
what
mean,
their style is, but
there's Fields is definitely the mobile running quarterback. Russ used to be a mobile running quarterback. Penix does not run. Bo Nix barely runs.
but the thing is, like, did the Steelers acquire those quarterbacks because they were a value?
Sure,
Like
absolutely.
Russ, what are they paying him this year? Like
Of
$1 million?
course. I think they only
And
have like $4 million wrapped up in the two guys or something like that. So yeah,
yeah,
it's very little. So it's not like it's a problem. It's just more of figuring out what their want would be here. I think we both like Penix. I think we should go Penix here.
yeah,
All right,
yeah, I
fair
agree.
enough. It is done. The Dolphins are on the clock at 21. They're on the wheel at 21. We are off, and we have an over 250-pound player is up next.
Okay, this
So
one's pretty
I
good.
think this one works out really nicely, actually. What do you got?
I mean, I think we got to look at offensive line.
Sure.
Um,
I believe the five names on the board. I had to look at Dallas Turner's weight, but I think all five of these guys might be over 250. Edge rushers. Dallas
Now,
Turner
my
is
question would be
247
is,
pounds. So Dallas Turner is out. But
yeah,
outside of that, I believe Johnny Newton, Fuaga, Fontenot, and Fashanu. I love when they get all three of the F tackles on the board at the same time. All four of these guys are available for them to pick.
so my question is what position on the offensive line
Sure,
would Miami covet the most? I think immediately they could use an upgrade at right tackle,
sure.
but Teron Armstead is also not getting younger. So a
Mm-hmm.
left tackle that you could develop wouldn't hurt at all either. I
Sure.
mean, I guess it comes down to your rankings of the tackle class. Fuaga is your traditional right tackle.
Right.
Fashanu and Fatanu, they play the left side, but that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean they can't also switch and play, the right side to Teron Armstead
Yeah.
retires.
Yeah.
So,
Fatanu, especially. I mean, there's been a ton of talk that they think he could actually play every position on the line just with his
yeah,
athleticism.
yeah. Um, Me personally, it would be Talise Fuaga. Bring him in and then
Okay.
kind of just figure it out during camp.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
three of them are so close. It's like splitting hairs almost.
I like Fuaga as well. I think he's the highest guy on our board if we're going offensive line, according to PFF's rankings. I think Miami is looking to just kind of get a cornerstone for the future. So I think it's a great pick. Let's
Yeah.
get Fuaga into Miami and let's get to the wheel and see what these Philadelphia Eagles get to choose from. All right, we're off again.
I'm so glad those other wedges are gone.
Uh-oh. QB trade allowed. So who wants some Bo Nix is kind of the question here. I mean, I would say one pick after them is a team that probably wants to get a quarterback in this draft, right?
Yes, is Minnesota just trading up one spot?
I think they're just trading up one spot, right? And they're
Yeah,
drafting Bo Nix.
yeah.
All right, so let's get the trade in here. We got Minnesota. They're going to trade 23 for 22. I mean,
230.
I mean, is 129? Is that enough to just call it for doing it here? I think that's
I mean,
probably too much.
I think anything would do it.
Let's just
Like
let's just say we'll do 157. We'll meet in the middle here. We'll force that. We're not going to get lost here. We're just going to get Minnesota on the clock and get Bo Nix
finally get their quarterback
on to the Vikings. So Philadelphia once again on the clock here, and the wheel is back out.
I'm starting to be interested in what players are going to be left not drafted.
Absolutely,
because it's getting. Oh my god!
All right, well, this is the last time this one can be. This is the last time this one can be done. I really thought with 6 quarterbacks that this wouldn't have been a problem being on the wheel, but Spencer Rattler, come on down. You are a first-round pick. I believe that's got to be the next quarterback on here, unless somebody's jumping up for Michael Pratt. But
yeah,
trade allowed. So, who's coming up to draft Spencer Rattler?
Okay, so are we going by the rule that we're limiting it to just the teams left in the first round?
No,
or not?
no, absolutely not. I mean, we can get Carolina in here if you want. If they're terrified of what Bryce Young did last year, I don't think that'd be the case.
Who didn't get?
So Carolina, Houston, and Cleveland, I think, are the only ones without first-round picks.
Well, I was thinking about teams that already chose in this mock draft.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
That didn't get a quarterback.
New England didn't get a quarterback, and
Washington,
the Commanders didn't get a quarterback. I don't believe.
Yeah,
I could see why. It's Philadelphia. But maybe Philadelphia is just like, yeah, you can take Spencer Rattler. We don't care. That's fine.
I think New England would be the more likely
absolutely
trade partner.
So let's find where New England is back on the clock. Where is New England? Their next pick is 68. Okay. That's gonna cost to get up then. I mean, potentially as much as like a future first to get up from 68.
103 next year's second, next year's third.
I like that. That'll work for us.
That seems fair, right?
Absolutely. Philadelphia, Howie Roseman's the king of getting these picks. He's like, this wheel thing that they're doing in the NFL this year is so stupid. And I want future picks when this wheel's not around anymore. So New England, you are the home for South Carolina quarterback Spencer Rattler as the Dallas Cowboys hit the clock, and we're losing some tiles.
This is good TV right here.
Yeah, this is just quality mock drafting. Guess what? No, okay, we're gonna be in the SEC. That's not a problem. We can handle SEC. We should have been a lot nicer to ourselves and just put some stuff like that on here. Dallas Turner is an option. J.C. Latham is an option. Kool-Aid McKinstry is an option. And then we get to Ladd McConkey, I believe, next.
I think it's got to just be Dallas Turner, man.
I mean, at this point, the value is just
so much
too
better
high
than everybody else.
Absolutely. You put him there, you got Micah Parsons, you got Dallas Turner. I mean, it's a fun couple of guys on the edge. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Dallas Turner, you are a Dallas Cowboy. How about it?
Turner and Micah Parsons.
Couldn't be more fitting that Dallas goes to Dallas. All right. Scary. The Green Bay Packers on the clock at 25. There's a couple tiles we could lose if it lands on them. I think Animal Mascot is safe.
Animal Mascot.
I believe it's only the second time that we've had it. So let's bring the Packers up here. I mean, I think you're just deciding between a couple of linemen here, right?
Yeah.
Either a Nittany Lion or a Husky.
Yeah, let me look at something real fast. Who is playing center right now for the Packers?
Oh, great question.
Josh Myers. They could definitely upgrade that position with Jackson Powers Johnson. Now, I mean,
he is a duck.
Fatano and Fashano are like they're better players, obviously, such better
Right.
players.
Right. I think Fatanu might make the most sense here.
Yeah,
Just with his versatility and the ability to move across the line kind of everywhere. I think it's a really good spot for a young team like the Packers to have, that flexibility.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
All
All
right.
right, yeah. You talked me
There
into
it is. Buccaneers at 26. Let's actually get to the wheel. Here we go.
defending NFC South champion
Yeah.
Buccaneers.
Fantasy Star, the first time it's happened,
Okay.
right when all the fantasy player options are here for us. So let's go ahead and hit the big board. Let's find an offensive player, first of all. Troy Franklin. I guess Lad McConkey.
I know what would make fantasy players lose their mind.
Okay.
Jonathan Brooks.
I like it. I mean, it is a really good in hindsight here now, looking back at it, it is a really good spot for a running back to go to. I think it's kind of been for years now.
Yeah.
A place that we've kind of been going like, man, if they could get a stud running back in there. And I know Rashad White had a pretty good year last year, but
And also I feel like with this whole class, like the running backs, it's like, everyone's like in a big mix. Like if one guy went in the first, it'd be like game over, top of the class, and then if you talk about your dynasty rookie drafts, now you start having that wide receiver versus running back conversation, as opposed to the running backs are going like end of the first, early second in rookie mocks.
I like it. Jonathan Brooks,
That's
you are
fun.
a Buccaneer.
That is
All
fun.
right. The Arizona Cardinals are back up now at 27. Will Johnny Newton or Olu Fashanu make it into the first round of this draft? Let's find out. I guess that fantasy one we could be playing, oh wait, replace oldest.
Oh boy. All right, let's
we get to
this up.
find out who the oldest player on the Arizona Cardinals is. So Dan will grab the roster and check out what is.
Let's take
let's hope for a defensive lineman, a tackle, a cornerback. I mean, even a linebacker, a wide receiver, a safety.
I have some bad news for us.
Oh no, we are drafting a kicker in the first round.
Break out your place kicker rankings because Matt Prater at 39.6
Oh no,
years of
Matt.
age.
It's Matt Prater. Okay, just as we thought would happen. We are into our place kickers now. As any good analyst has done, I'm sure you've gone through and looked at all of your favorite place kickers in this draft.
Yes.
I mean, I'm personally a Cam Little guy, but I don't know about you.
I was going to say Cam Little has been my guy for a while
4
now.
years?
So
4 years? It's like 4 years, right? You had him coming out of high school.
It's an easy selection.
It's an
Cam
easy
Little.
selection. That oh boy, I can't wait for everyone to see what
he has to go to
done.
the team with. He has to go to the team with Kyler Murray.
Exactly. It makes sense. Yeah, I'm with it.
Yeah.
That was probably a very fitting way for near the end of the first round to have ended. So let's get the wheel going again. Let's see where we're at. We might have a trade. No, we have a non-animal mascot. Oh,
okay.
That works nicely because our top guy on our board
has no mascot.
Johnny Newton, who is not it's a non-animal. I mean, nothing is not an animal. So I think it fits.
That is correct.
And even if you were going to say, well, their mascot was once an Indian chief and they still are the Fighting Illini, then I think Johnny Newton fits the bill, and the Bills need defensive interior. So I think that's an easy selection here. What do you think?
Perfect.
Johnny Newton.
Finally off the board.
A Buffalo Bill. Who's going to bite some kneecaps in Detroit? What does the wheel tell us?
This has a group of 5 school written all over it.
It might have animal mascot written all over it, which is nice for Lions fans because that is the most common on here. So we basically have everybody on this board right here except for Jared Verse available. I think we could just it's tough that Jared Verse is actually the one that's not available because edge rusher could be used in Detroit. But I think we could just go with value and take Olu here and just say like, look, we're gonna have a great swing tackle, or we could go with Kool-Aid McKinstry to help their secondary out a little bit, or we could go with Jackson Powers Johnson for a guard center spot.
Yeah, so JPJ is nice because Frank is getting a little bit older.
Yep, absolutely.
The current center, Frank Ragnow.
Yep.
So you could bring JPJ in,
Mhm.
start him at one of the guard spots, and then eventually, he can slide over and become your center of the future.
I love it. I think that makes the most sense here. I think while Fashanu is probably the best value on the board for Detroit's need, they were in the final four of the NFL last year. Indianapolis is going to teach them how to hang a banner. Jackson Powers Johnson makes the most sense. So let's go ahead. Let's get a team that is historically just like the best at drafting, the Baltimore Ravens. Let's see if the wheel is kind to them and lets them just take another best player available. No, it does not. The Group 5 school is back on the board here, and I believe when we've gone through this pre-show, our next Group of 5 player is Kieran. From Yale, a tackle from Yale.
Good luck with that.
So that feels like the pick, right? I mean, I guess technically we could go Malachi Corley. They need a wide
Malachi
receiver.
Would just be fun. Malachi would be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. The Yak King. Let's put the Yak King in Baltimore. I love it. Malachi Corley, you are a first-round pick. Congratulations. So the last two picks, San Francisco. What does the wheel have in store for you?
There's so many good players still on the board.
Oh, I know. Well, I guess we can just swap San Francisco and Kansas City real quick.
Yeah, I guess so.
We'll do that. I'm going to go ahead and remove trade from the board and just go ahead and spin for Kansas City, and then we'll move them when we get over there. So Kansas City will be getting themselves a Senior Bowl alum.
Senior Bowl alum. Okay.
All right.
I actually already have somebody. I have somebody in mind already.
Go ahead and talk it out. I'm going to give pick 173, I think, to force this trade. So,
okay.
All right. Go ahead.
Tyler Guyton, the tackle from Oklahoma. He went down to Mobile, had a great week. Got a lot of first-round buzz. It's kind of died down since, but now we see here, thanks to the wheel, Tyler Guyton, you are a first-round draft pick.
A first-round draft pick. Congratulations, Tyler Guyton, to the defending, two-time defending champion, Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs. And with the last pick of the craziest first round, we need a fantasy star to go to the San Francisco 49ers. So, kind of an interesting one because they are already stacked full of fantasy stars, so much so that everybody's talking about that they might trade one of their wide receivers, and they have the best fantasy running back on their team. Where to go here, Dan?
Oh, man. So
let me throw something out there real quick. So I know Christian McCaffrey is there, but historically, you always want to have the Shanahan running back, right? He is a guy that finds a way to get them involved and get them tons of points. McCaffrey is now 27, going on 28, I think, this year. Has had a history of injury. And a guy like Jalen Wright could be really dynamite in that offense, or Trey Benson could be real dynamite in that offense. And it could be a really fun one to stash on your fantasy team behind Christian McCaffrey for the opportunity possibility.
Okay. I like that. I was going a different way.
Okay, talk it out.
I was thinking about how fun it would be to have like somebody like Ricky Pearsall out of Florida in the Shanahan offense, or even Alad McConkey or Xavier Worthy. Kyle's going to find a way to utilize all their various skill sets, whether it's,
Mhm.
Ricky's hands, Xavier's speed, Lad's just, quick, get off the line ability.
Sure.
So then you can start thinking, how do those players complement what the 49ers already have? And like, kind
Sure.
of like, what are they missing? Debo is kind of like your gadget player, do everything. Brandon Ayuk is kind of like your possession receiver type of thing.
Mhm.
I mean, I think Xavier Worthy in this offense, like, just blow the top off of everything. Because, like, you think about Shanahan's offense,
Yeah.
it's stacked boxes, it's compact formations to confuse the defense, get everybody inside, and then he's just running. He's running screens, he's running
Yeah.
misdirections,
Yeah.
running rub routes. And now you throw a guy who runs like
I
as
love it.
fast as Xavier Worthy, just not even an every down player, like once, twice a
Sure.
drive,
Sure.
just
Just get a deep
bomb.
ball in there. Yep.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
like it.
exactly.
I was gonna say, if we were looking for a Debo Samuel replacement, I never thought I would say it's too bad Malachi Corley already got selected in the first round because he would actually fit really well as
Yeah.
a replacement for Debo Samuel.
Yeah.
But he of course was already off the board at 30. So we'll just have to go with Xavier Worthy here with the last pick of our wheel mock draft. So let's go ahead and grade our draft. I'm sure. Oops, that play isn't in our playbook just yet. So we didn't do so hot. I don't think it was so bad that they didn't have an answer for us. But we'll
It's because they haven't programmed in a score above 100.
exactly. Yeah, they're like, wow, a perfect score already. So let's run over the wildest first round mock draft that you're going to see probably this mock season. Quinyon Mitchell goes number 1 to the Bears. Malik Neighbors 2, Joe Alt 3, Byron Murphy 4, Brian Thomas Jr. is 5, Caleb Williams has to sit around, 5 picks to go, 6th, Marius Mims 7, Terrion Arnold 8, Jaden Daniels 9, Marvin Harrison Jr. 10, Roma Dunze 11, JJ McCarthy goes 12, Cooper DeJean at 13, Leo Tulatu at 14, Adonai Mitchell at 15, Graham Barton 16. Drake May finally goes at 17, followed by Brock Bowers at 18. Then we have Nate Wiggins at 19, Michael Penix Jr., Talise Fuaga, and Bo Nix go 2020, 2021, and 22. Spencer Rattler, Dallas Turner, Troy Fautineau, Jonathan Brooks, Cam Little, Johnny Newton, Jackson Powers Johnson, Malachi Corley, Tyler Guyton, and Xavier Worthy. I forgot Cam Little went in this first round. I'm sorry. Rounds out our first round of our wheel mock draft. Dan, how do you think it turned out?
This is probably the most fun I've had doing a mock draft in a number of years.
I can't wait to tease it for everybody and just post this mock draft and just say, find out what happened that this is how the mock draft played out, because I think it's going to confuse a lot of people seeing these names when we are talking about this one. But hey, there's been plenty of mock drafts, and it just gets boring and boring the more you see the same guys going places. So you can't say the same about this one here. So, Dan, anything before we head out here?
I think this was so much fun. And what I would love is if in the comments people gave us ideas for wedges for the next wheel. You know,
Absolutely.
think of anything, just be crazy, get out of there. And, this is kind of both a mock draft simulation and like a pub trivia. Like, can you
Sure.
name the oldest player on the Arizona Cardinals? I can
Absolutely.
now. It's Matt Prater. He's
It's Matt
39.
Prater. And the youngest is potentially Cam Little. So with that, we will head out here. Thank you for joining us for the Banners Fly Forever football show. We got plenty of stuff coming up here as we lead up to the draft. The draft's only about a week away now. So for Dan, I am Tim. Please join us next time and have a great night, everybody.